Court will call the case of the State of Michigan versus Jaquel Clark, case number 21-S00033.
Your Honor, we're here for a final settlement conference. There is no offer in this case. There's one count of alleged high BAC. I believe Mr. Clark is going to plead as charged rather than go to trial. And I have a request for him to plead no contest based on potential civil liability. I sent a police report to the court about 10 minutes ago. There is allegedly an accident, yes, but I don't see any charges arising out of that other than the high BAC charge.
Mr. Clark, your attorney indicates that you're going to plead as charged to operating a motor vehicle with a high blood alcohol content that is a misdemeanor carrying a maximum of 180 days and or up to $700 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry to interrupt, Your Honor, but the lawyer that I had before, I don't know what he was telling me. He kept telling me to go to trial, but y'all kept adjourning it. This has been going on for 18 months, and I'm just trying to get rid of it.
Sir, I'm not certain what you're trying to say right now, but do you want to do that or not?
Yes, ma'am. What I'm saying is we could have been done with this a while ago. Like, instead of today being the day that I'm pleading guilty or no contest, I could have did that last year.
Yeah, I'm not sure which other lawyer he was talking to, but in terms of what the sentencing would be, those are issues that Mr. Clark and I would probably bring up for sentencing. He tells me he is on probation with the trial court. So I've had that discussion with him, and they have not violated him as a result of this, and he's not sure what they would do. And so I believe he understands that pleading today could be a violation of that. But in any event, just in response to what he was saying, I think what my client's saying is he would have resolved this much earlier. Thank you.
If I may briefly.
Yes, you may.
So Mr. Banas, I did actually send you an offer on this. It was charged with an agreement to no upfront jail time, and the people would recommend community service instead of the 5 days jail. So it's basically the same offer, but there was a sentencing agreement to no upfront jail. Okay,
I understand. Thank you. Yes. So Mr. Clark, there's no offer in the sense of they're changing the charge to any other misdemeanor. But what the prosecutor is saying is if you plead as charged, which is what we discussed, the prosecutor will recommend community service as part of your sentencing rather than will not be recommending any jail time. Let me put it that way. But ultimately, which we discussed, that your sentencing is up to the judge.
Do you have any questions about that particular part of the agreement, sir? The no upfront jail piece?
No, ma'am.
All right. Is this what you want to do now, sir?
Yes, ma'am. I wish I could have did it a while ago.
Well, you keep saying that, but as far as I'm concerned, you could have. We've been adjourning this for
a year and a half.
Yes, that's true.
But the lawyer, he just kept telling me, the lawyer that was talking to me kept telling me that he's going to do this and do that. And every time I came to court, it was a couple of times I fell asleep in your court, and I kept getting it adjourned. I don't know what was going on.
Well, sir, we're here today. If you would raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to go over some rights that you have that you're going to be giving up by entering in this plea. Please stop me if you have any questions, sir. To the charge of operating with a high blood alcohol content, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
All right. And I understand the basis for the plea is potential civil liability. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I will review the police report for a factual basis. I'm reviewing by stipulation of the parties, correct? Case report number 20-0007-0756. Is that
So
correct?
stipulated, Judge.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right. This report indicates that on October the 15th, 2020, Officer Ballard was in the vicinity of Whitaker Road and Textile Road in Ypsilanti Township. They were sent to an unknown crash at that location, and that an individual, the at-fault driver, had fled the scene of the crash on foot, is what Mr. Clark was stopped by the police, and at that time, he indicated that he acknowledged that he was driving and said that the other individual was at fault at the time. And the officers smelled alcohol on his breath, and the lab report indicates that the blood alcohol content was 0.257. I find that there's a factual basis for the plea and it's been willingly and knowingly made. Sentencing in this case will be June 2nd, 2022. And that'll be at 10 a.m. Sir, you need to make and keep an appointment with the probation department. Did you write down the phone number that I gave out to people earlier today regarding sentencing?
No, ma'am.
Anybody on the call should write down that phone number at this time in the event that you need to call it.
So you need me to call this number today?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. We'll see you back here on June 2nd. Your bond is contingent.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. We'll call the case of the state of Michigan versus Jaquel Clark, case number 21S-00033.
Jaquel Clark.
Good afternoon, Mr. Clark.
How you doing, Your Honor?
I am okay.
Your Honor, first of all, I told Mr. Clark that that his shirt is very nice.
Thank you.
Poetic justice. Your Honor, Mr. Clark is a very positive person, and I reviewed the pre-sentence report with him. We have no requested changes to the report. As to the recommendation, I reviewed that with him. First of all, he is up in probation in the 22nd court. He reports to me that everything is currently going okay, and he's actually testing there, he said, 2 times a month.
At community corrections.
Right, but in connection with that probation case, right?
Yes, sir.
And I don't know if that's possible, Your Honor. The recommendation is 4 times a month. If possibly the 2 times a month, if that would satisfy the probation requirement, and here we're making that request. He also told me he has a medical marijuana card. If he hasn't done so already, if he provides that to Mr. Heaton, would be able to use marijuana while on probation. And the only other issue was the case was adjourned for a long time. That's not saying no one's fault. It's just kind of the history of the case. So if he had accepted the plea earlier, he'd be well on his way on probation, and he's been on probation up in felony court all this time. So he was asking if the probation period could be less. I think 18 months is pretty standard for this type of charge, but perhaps this is the type of charge that he'd be eligible for completion within half that time if he completes everything.
He would be eligible, and there was a crash in this case, so 18 months is certainly what we're looking at.
But Your Honor, can I say something?
You'll have an opportunity in a second to say whatever you want to say to me, Mr. Clark, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
You're okay. Mr. Burdell?
Judge, I just asked that the court follow the recommendation from probation. If he does have a medical marijuana card, of course, he is, the new law says that he's allowed to use it while he's on probation. So I'll But of course, he needs to get that card. So other than that, nothing to add from the people.
It's right here.
As long as this particular incident was not a violation of the MMA, that's correct. And there's no medical marijuana that's alleged in this incident,
No, ma'am.
alcohol. All right.
Yes, ma'am. To be honest with you, at that time, I was going through a lot. I was going through a divorce. I had my daughters taken away from me, and my father died. And right after my father's funeral, I got to drinking heavy, and I really was not in the right mind state. And I got in that accident, and you know, the lady ran the red light, but I still was at fault because I was under the influence. I'm not blaming her, but I was still under the influence, and my situation and the way that I was feeling caused that problem. Because I went through death, depression, all kind of stuff, but I'm not gonna blame that. And I feel that I'm responsible for it. I just was thinking, since I've been waiting 20 months, they kept adjourning it. I was hoping that I can get time served or reduce probation or something, or, I don't know the justice system like that. I know a little bit, but not a lot. And I was just wondering if it was, possible I could have a reduced probation, or because this is a violation to the probation that I'm on. And I got to go to court on the 13th. And I think they're going to extend me another 6 months. And I was hoping that it can run concurrent. And I still do the community service and the testing as possible that I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Well, Mr. Clark, here's the thing. When you say that the case has been extended, it was extended at your request or your attorney's request.
It wasn't extended at my request. It was extended at my attorney's request. I just got Mr. Bannis maybe a couple months ago, but before I had him, the attorney that I had was telling me that they didn't read me my rights. They weren't supposed to ask me a question about a testing, so he kept adjourning it, saying that they didn't have a case against me. So I was thinking, okay, cool, y'all don't have a case against me, but I got fed up with it. So the last time I saw you, I just said, forget it, man. I'm just, I'm tired, man. It's been a year and a half. Right? Let me just get this over with. And I think that was April 28th. Just let me get this over with. And I played no contest. I'm tired. I got to go to court. And
you bench warranted?
No, I haven't had a bench warrant, but I fell asleep in your court a few times.
Myself, I issued one on August 5th, and I issued one on January 27th.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I fell asleep. Yes, ma'am. I remember I fell asleep because I worked third shift.
So, I'm hearing everything that you're saying, but here's the thing. There was a crash that was involved. People get hurt. I understand that was a time period in your life. I am taking all of that into consideration. You then left the scene too. So it wasn't just a crash, but then there was a crash and you left and had to be found.
It was nervousness. I'm not gonna blame that. It's my fault. I'm putting the blame on myself. I shouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. I'm not excusing what I did. I want to take responsibility for it. I even asked the prosecutor, can I get, jail time? And because I don't want to be on probation, I was asking, can I get 90 days or something so I can get rid of this case? And I even asked Mr. Bannis, can I, do jail time to get rid of this case and get it done and over with?
What's the problem with you doing probation?
The fees and fines. I pay $500 a month in child support, and I got rent and gas is like $1,000 a gallon.
you got that last part right.
Give or take.
I mean, it takes me literally about $200 to drive to work back and forth, just back and forth to work a week. And that, I don't know what kind of vehicle you have, But if you got a big vehicle, you spending at least over $100 trying to fill your tank up. And how often do you got to go shopping, get groceries and all that type of stuff? And the economy is not working right. And then the place I work at, we keep getting laid off. So it's like, I'd rather do jail time than to be out here struggling.
I understand that, but I don't agree with you.
I mean, I don't want to fail as part of, not being able to pay the fees and costs and fines. That's a violation in itself. And if I'm not able to pay it, then I'm gonna end up back in court, and then I might have probation extended or something to that factor. So it's like I'm.
Here's the thing. We don't send people to jail for not paying their fines and costs. We send them to jail for not showing up. Here's
Yes, ma'am.
the other thing. I don't think we've extended people recently for not paying your fines and costs. We have you come back and set up payment plans and things like that. So that's the least of your concerns. The first of my concern is public safety, which means that you shouldn't be drinking any alcohol. And the only way I can know you're not doing that is to put you on probation. So having said all that, you tested positive on May 17th for alcohol. So that's
No, that was for marijuana. I can't drink alcohol. I got liver damage.
it's positive ETG test. ETG is alcohol, sir.
It probably was the Listerine or something. I can't drink. I have liver damage. I'm taking medication for it.
Did you have liver damage on October the 15th of 2020?
I had liver damage August 2017 is when I found out. But
So you shouldn't be drinking and can't drink are two different things.
I shouldn't have been drinking because they when I went to the doctor in August 2017, they told me I had liver damage, and if I keep drinking, I can get cirrhosis of the liver.
Right.
But
That's my point.
But when I had, when me and my ex-wife split up and my kids got taken away and my father died out, I just went crazy, and I'm still dealing with that liver damage. I can even provide that to the court from my doctors.
It's not going to change my sentence, sir.
I know, Your Honor. That's why I was hoping that I can get a request of a shorter probation sentence.
You can do what you're supposed to do and shorten your sentence. If you do what you're supposed to do, then this sentence can be shortened to 9 months as opposed to 18 months. But that's all in you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. It's the sentence of the court that you serve 180 days in the Washington County Jail. Credit for 1 day served. 179 are suspended. 18 months probation. If you do everything you're supposed to do, you can shorten your sentence to have it be a 9-month probation. You have to do 10 days of community service. I'm gonna, because of your fine and cost concern, I'm gonna reduce those to $425. Okay.
What do you mean? $425 a month?
No, $425
total.
Well, that's for fines and costs. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
You have to do $30 per month in probation oversight fee. Complete an assessment at Dawn Firm and follow any and all recommendations. You attend the MAD Victim Impact Panel. And you're to meet with probation when and where directed. No use of alcohol, marijuana, unless you provide that card, and I give you proof of that. You got to provide the card as well as the reason that you have a medical necessity. So not just the card, but also the reason why you have that medical necessity. No
right
possession of firearm components. You must drug and alcohol test 4 times per month. I will accept the 2 that you're already doing as 2 of those 4. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And here go my card right here.
You got to give that to probation along with the medical necessity. So why do you have a card? You got to give that proof to the probation department. Okay.
Well, I'm currently on probation, and my probation agent told me if I got the card, I can't be violated. So I went and got a medical card.
Okay, that's not a medical necessity. So you need to talk to your doctor and give a letter to probation why you have medical necessity.
Oh, okay, I can get that. I have
You like to talk, don't you?
I have a third tier. It's the third thing in my vertebrae or something. I got
I
a
don't
bone.
need you to tell me all that. You need to
Oh.
give that to probation.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you
I have a
do.
bulging disc in my back.
See, you just
Yes, ma'am. I'm quiet. I'm quiet.
you need to attend 12-step meetings 2 times per week, sir, and provide proof of that.
Twice a week.
Did you not go over this report with your with your? I'm not even gonna. Never mind. Don't answer. Yes, twice a week.
I think Mr. Clark could probably do those online, by the way. But-
Yes, they can be done online.
By the way, Your Honor, I should say, just for the record, I agree with the recommendation, and other than whatever I said previously, but there is case law where, because I've had to review this in other cases, where someone can demand jail time in lieu of, because probation is a privilege. So I did discuss that with Mr. Clark, but then I reminded him this is a 6-month max. So I did not advise him to ask for 6 months in jail, and that's why we requested that you follow the recommendation, among other things.
Mr. Clark wants to go to jail for 6 months.
No, he does not. I was just saying.
Okay.
I
I was
Good
willing.
day, Mr. Clark.
I was willing to go to jail so I wouldn't have to do probation.
No. Well, yeah, no, they can appeal it. I'm not.
But not for 6. Mr. Clark, you're not asking for jail time, right? We discussed, is this a 6-month charge? See, this is why I brought it up, just for the record. Because Mr. Clark, I think, was initially thinking it was maybe a 90-day, but then we discussed
Mr.
it.
Clark, did you hear what I said? If you violate, you're looking at 180 days. That's 6 months in jail.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
But I didn't want to. I was asking, can I do the time so I wouldn't have to pay the costs and the fees and the fines of being on probation? I would just rather do the jail time instead of,
Well, you can go ahead and violate, then you can do your jail time.
I ain't trying to violate.
Okay. Have a good day, Mr. Clark. Bye-bye.
There's going to be fines and costs even if you do jail. So,
Oh, I still had to pay fines and costs?
well, you have not been ordered to go to jail, fortunately, and I think you agree with that. So that's a discussion for today, which hopefully we will never need to have.
Yes, sir.
Call the probation department, sir, and sign your contract. Do you have the phone number?
No, ma'am.
Everybody write the phone number down that's being sentenced so I don't have to give it out again. 734-483-7336.
Come on, you stupid phone. 734-483-7336.
Correct. All right, have a good day, sir. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. Do me a favor. Enjoy the rest of your week and have a good weekend.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge,
Mr. Burdell, I think you jinxed us.
yeah, maybe.